Welcome to the Same Snob podcast.
Welcome to the show. And just so anybody, if you're watching, welcome to the Scene Snobs podcast live. I am your host, of course, Nick Manhattan, the Scene Snob. And I am joined today by a very good friend, an old friend.
Yeah.
We've known each other a long time. And
Yeah.
Mr. James M. Executus.
Yes, hello.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. I mean, I can't complain, but I'm not gonna. So there we go.
That's fair. That's fair.
Mhm.
But we were talking a little bit about before the intro, your plans and what you were planning at the beginning of the year, kind of getting railroaded a little bit, or derailed, I should say.
Well, yeah, that's everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fair. 2020 is definitely taking a good wipe on us right about now.
That's one word I would associate with it. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I guess as long as we're healthy, we can. It could be worse. Knock on wood.
Yeah. I actually, not to get too personal, I have a pre-existing condition, and if I have something good and something bad. The bad is obviously I have a pre-existing condition, which makes me, I don't have autoimmune disease or anything like that. I don't have Lyme's or anything like that, but just I don't heal very quickly. So I would not. I'm quasi-immunocompromised. A positive is I have O negative blood. So O negative and O positive have a high tolerance to not actually get the virus. So.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm O negative.
Yeah, I think it's O positive is like the highest, and then it's O negative, and then so on and so forth. But I've gotten tested twice actually. It is not fun.
No, I've heard.
They just stick this like ruler-sized Q-tip in your face, and then gibble and wrangle all your head guts, and then they pull it out, and it looks like they did an old school mummification, pulling your brains out through your nose kind of thing.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's a rough one.
Yeah. I did it for work initially at Quest Diagnostics of all places. And then, I was stupid and I hung out with somebody during quarantine, but we really only saw each other. We never went out anywhere. We just hung out, so to speak. But we decided let's be safe and get tested anyway, and we did, and we were fine. So yeah, two negative tests, no antibodies. So I mean, I'm kind of grateful and lucky at the same time, just because I have been essential and working through it. But yeah, and other people are not so lucky. So I wish everybody well and to be safe, just to get it out of the way, because I know we're going to be talking about non-disease related things.
Yeah.
So
Well, and to that point, actually, I just want to know what's going on with you, man. What's going on with Seeing Red Films? I'm excited to hear what projects you have coming down the pike, and
Well,
if you're catch up.
okay. Well, when you and I were quasi-partners, business partners, co-colleagues, when we worked together, it was called Surreal Design Inceptions.
Mhm.
That was my old company. I had a personal issue, so the original website ended. You relocated to where you are now. Originally, I like my tuna with lots of man-ass. Yeah, that place.
Nah, I'm no longer there anymore.
I know you're not. I know. I just had to toss that one in there, though. So we originally started on MarioLikesMovies.com. It was a review site. For those of you that don't know where Mick and I met, we knew each other way before that also. But, he was in the film industry. I always wanted to be in the film industry. Oh, we got to brighten that up. There we go. And he told me all these things back then, and I was like, nah, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. He was right about 95% of all that stuff. But anyway, you didn't hear that. You didn't hear that from me. I didn't say that. No one heard that.
Wait, I didn't hear that. You want to say it again?
Yeah, but we did the movie review website. It was actually, for the most part, it was pretty successful. The only thing we didn't do was we didn't make money doing it, but I mean, It's kind of hard. It's kind of tough to do that anyway. Nowadays, it's not as hard because you have Patreon and OnlyFans or whatever, and all this other stuff. And, you know, people, if they like your content, they're like, here, take my money, you know, the Fry meme. But we had a good time. It was a good run. It was a good 4-year run for that website. And Mick was around for like 2.5 years of that.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I decided, hey, with his guidance for the most part, I decided, let me try to make my own films, and failed horribly, you know, early on, as everybody, not everybody, but a good amount of people who want to become filmmakers or get into media do. They're like, oh, I don't want to listen to anybody. I'm doing stuff on my own. Or you listen to the wrong people, or you take this advice and that advice. You basically have to fall flat on your face multiple times before you get better or realize you're doing something wrong. You got to constantly learn, constantly evolve. That's something I did not have early on because I could not take criticism well also. So once Mario Likes Movies kind of disbanded, I rebranded to Seeing Red Films because I don't know, at the time it spoke to me, and it still kind of is just who I am, that name, that moniker and everything. And it's not like an anger thing either. A lot of people ask me that all the time, like, oh, is it anger? I was like, no. So I started this, it was supposed to be a comedy paranormal series because at the time, Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters International, Paranormal State, all those paranormal shows were huge. But there was no parodies of them at the time. This is like 7 years ago now at this point. 7 years ago.
Yeah. Oh,
but
even longer.
Yeah. But as I started making this, people left. I don't think I ever told you this. I actually hired 2 actors to play Grant Brown and Trevor Blackburn, the 2 main characters.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who was supposed to play Grant Brown no-showed the first day of shooting.
Oh.
After I paid him for the day and after I paid everybody. It was a $1,600 shoot. We were doing 2 episodes in one day, so that was where most of the budget went, was for that day. It was a 13-hour day, and the guy no-showed at 8 in the morning, and he never answered texts, and we already were behind an hour. At 9:30, I was like, you know what, the hell with it. I played the character in the trailer, so I'll just do it and we'll see what happens. And that's actually how I ended up being in the show.
Yeah.
You know, we've discussed this multiple times, but for your audience, a big no-no that I agree with, that Mick will also probably agree with, is if you're directing or writing your own stuff, don't star in your own stuff either.
It's not that I don't think that you can.
Yeah, it's
that
just,
is so much to take on.
It pulls you away from the important things, like actually directing a scene and making sure everything looks right, you know, with a DP and just like, I am not happy with the way a lot of the stuff turned out and what I made, but I still stand by it, which is the important thing. Like, I love my little turd of a web series that's finally releasing the last episode in the next month or so. So after, 8 years later, but.
Well, it's funny because we kind of swapped. I was working in the film industry.
Yeah.
We started
doing what you're doing now. Yeah.
And when I came on, like, that was my first real experience getting into, not shooting videos, but like getting into like what podcasting is and things like that.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it. And then we just like, you went straight for the filmmaking.
You did the family thing, and now you're doing the podcast and the videos. Yeah, so it's fun. I'll announce something like that when we get to it. But yeah, I'm actually going back into it as well. Not like the way you're doing it, but something a little different. But I'm doing it again. Yeah.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that because I miss Mario Likes Movies not being around. It would be awesome. I mean, I'm saying, if you need to. Or a midnight movie reunion might be in order.
Oh yeah, I'm planning something. We're trying to get it logistically done, which has been a nightmare. But basically, I have Dave on board, obviously, but I was trying to get Ivan on board also. And it's not that he doesn't want to do it. It's just that he is like you now. Your situation personally is
Yeah.
also his situation personally. Except it's the opposite. You have 2 boys, he's got 2 girls.
It's a tough one, man. And
So pulling that is tough because him and his spouse both work and they have the 2 young kids just like you. So the life. You find the time and you make the time. It's really hard for him to find the time and make the time. And I'm not judging him. Everybody has their own situation. So it's just hard for him to have any kind of free time.
It is. And the reason I find the time is I have a very supportive wife.
Yeah, I've seen that. I haven't met her, but I've seen it, through pictures and other podcasts. I listen to your stuff, so.
No, I appreciate it, man. And thank you. And it spawns from you and Mario Likes Movies, definitely. Was the inspiration. So, and that's why I would love to see you and Dave back in front of the red curtain.
Well, like I said, where is it? You will 100% know what this is real quick.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
There is 7 podcasts that him and I did yesterday on here.
Yes.
So
get to it. I want to hear them.
Yeah. They're not about movies though, unfortunately.
Okay.
But yeah,
whatever brings you back,
Yeah. We are gonna be doing movie related content just like that much compared to the other stuff.
Well, let me ask you, Spies. I think if I remember correctly, that was spawned off the idea of a video we did.
Yes, it was.
Where we were ghost hunters for a midnight movie.
Yeah, and you played the driver. Yeah, that was so great.
Wasn't I the ghost too? Wasn't I running around in the basement or something?
Oh, we did 2 of them. Yeah, I forgot. So, back when Mario Likes Movies existed, this is a sad story. This little part of it, none of that is online anymore. Unfortunately.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, one midnight movie is all that's left, and it's the first one where Dave's like a hot air balloon, and I'm like a mini hot air balloon, and there's no red curtain, and it's just like us talking about Night of the Creeps and saying and like every 2 seconds. But
I think I remember
when we had no idea what to do, what to say, how to act. But yeah, so Mick and I, we did two big segments for 2 big buzz movies that were coming out. The first one was the first VHS, which hilariously enough is apparently getting rebooted now. So even though it hasn't even been that long, but we did this segment where we copied like a skit, one of the segments from the movie, and we put it in the review. And all the filmmakers involved and Brad from Bloody Disgusting and all the collective, the production group, they all saw it and they all loved it and shared it. And I thought we did a great job doing that. Mick was in it, playing a ghost in a sheet. And then we did one for a movie by Yam Loranis called The Road, which was a Filipino, I think, movie, some Malaysia, one of those countries.
Mm-hmm.
And that was also fun. Dave and I were on the side of the road, and then Mick over here just puts saran wrap over his face and turns around. It was great.
Yeah, that was when I was in the movie, right?
And that was on the fly. We were like, we don't know what this movie is about. We were only reading the synopsis, and the skit had nothing to do with the movie at all. But it was just great. It was hilarious. I'm still kind of friends with the director. I still talk to him on Twitter every once in a while, and we still follow each other. He's got 2 or 3 movies after that now. So those are great times. Yeah,
those are some fun shoots. Because when we finally got to a point where we took midnight movie from just doing it on the couch to putting little short vignettes in there.
Yeah.
I think that elevated it to a whole new level.
Yeah, it definitely, the production value aspect of it. I did one for that movie Entrance, and me and Dave tore. That was one of the very few negative midnight movies. We tore that movie a new butthole. And it was directed by 2 dudes, and the one guy followed me on Twitter, told me to go F myself, and then blocked me on Twitter, one of the directors, after he saw that. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm doing something right. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I guess I'll announce this now since we're talking about it. The Midnight Movie is making a return on the new website I'm creating. So that's
Very
the movie
good.
thing. That's the movie thing I'm gonna be doing. We're gonna do it like once every week or once every 2 weeks, where we're gonna get the curtain and the couch back. We might do some skits and vignettes depending. We're setting it up now. It's very early, but you know, Dave and I have finally we sat down and decided, let's really do this thing. Let's go for it again, because we already kind of succeeded one time. The hell with it. We got nothing to lose. Let's do it again.
Keep going, man. Do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I will promote the shit out of it. I would love to. And
I actually have everything done. We just have to kind of make content, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it's more video game related this time around, but it's fine with me.
If I can give some advice, the only advice I will give to doing this that I've learned doing the Scene Snobs is stop watching the movie at midnight and then record.
Oh yeah. Well, we had long stopped doing that. We stopped doing that. Like, we did 97 midnight movies, which is, if you think about it, that's a lot. That's a lot of videos. And we used to do them every other day, and we would like do them at midnight. And then around like episode 30, we stopped doing it at midnight. We were like, yeah, we should probably do this earlier, where we have time and we're not tired and we can be funnier, you know, whatever, more elaborate. So yeah, we did that.
That was always hysterical to me, because like, it was like, all right, it's almost midnight, we're gonna watch the movie, and I'm like, why are we watching midnight?
I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I still don't know what I'm doing. It's fine.
Oh, it was amazing though.
The only difference now is I know how to frame a shot and shoot things earlier. That's about the only difference. And I have less hair and less teeth.
We all get there, man.
Yeah.
No, dude. I wrote some of my best articles for Mario Likes Movies. I love doing that. That was so much fun.
I think the site's still up on the like that internet site that saves everything. I think you can still find it on there somewhere. Otherwise, it's unfortunately lost forever, because I am no longer with who I was with back then, who had all the stuff on their computer. So
yeah, it's a shame, but
that happens. It's okay. I lost the last Spies episode because my computer decided to take a crap on itself. Yeah, and that was the best stuff I shot. Like, honestly, that was the coolest, best stuff I ever did in my filmmaking career, was that episode. And it's my fault, because I took 4 years to edit it. But like, I made the problem with people who have the condition I have is they self-sabotage a lot. So I found excuses to not do the one thing I loved to do and wanted to make my career.
Yeah.
So it sat, Spies episodes 3 and 4 sat on my PC for years. And then I finally said, you know what, let me stop making excuses. Let me pull myself out of whatever issues I was having personally. I did that. And then when I got to business, I'm like, oh, I have backups of season 3 and the old episodes and everything on my hard drive. I just have episode 4 on the PC. So I knew it was plugged in and I knew it was on, but I never had a monitor attached to it. So it was on for like 2 years straight. And I didn't realize it was connected to the internet wirelessly, because it had a Wi-Fi adapter in it. So I didn't know it was connected to the internet. So I turn it on, I get the monitor, I put it on, I get a transfer wire from Best Buy to transfer all the stuff to my new computer. And it says Windows 7 start. And I'm like, okay. I press start. Factory reset the whole computer. So I looked it up and I'm like, what the hell happened? And there was apparently a glitch years ago where it could potentially factory reset your computer, and you can get your data back, you know, if that happens with, you know, editing software, recovery software programs. I looked it up. I only got 2 files back, and it wasn't from that. It was just random stuff. It had been so long that it just completely wiped from the computer. It was, I don't even know how long it was that it actually happened. So I unfortunately lost the last episode. I have like some stuff that I'm gonna put into a trailer, but because another quasi announcement that I have to say, but no guarantees. Someone offered to really actually face to face offered to finance a second season of the show.
That'd be great, man.
I told them though, because they're going to remain anonymous until all the details are ironed out. If this happens, if this happens, myself and Trevor Blackburn, the actor wants to remain not nameless, but he's taken a step back from acting, so he's anonymous now. We'll call him Nick Fisher because that's his name in the credits. You know who he is, though. You met him before.
Yeah, I met him.
Yeah, John. LOL. He has a family now too. He's a big lawyer now, so he took a step back from the acting. He's going to come. He agreed to come back for one last time, and I would be coming back one last time. I have the story of how it would happen. It's completely ridiculous, but at this point, I don't really care. And we're gonna come back one time, and that's it. It's all new people. It's a soft reboot, basically. So it would be like everything happened, but it's new. You know what I mean? Like Jumanji, it's a soft reboot.
Can I pitch you in on an idea I have?
Sure.
And it's recorded, so if anybody thinks back and tries to take it from you, you can always be like, no, he pitched it to me. So,
trust me, if I sent you the script to the pilot, you would laugh your ass off because it's just like, you'd be like, really? And I'm like, yeah.
Well, this is more for a movie inspired by spies.
I have 2 of those written too, but none of the characters from the show would be in it. But it's their spies films, yeah.
Well, my thoughts were, fast forward, something happened to the spies crew, right? So you could still do those seasons and have an ending in sight. So then you fast forward, your character's son is all grown up. He's like going into college, and he finds the old spies tapes. And he sees what's going on, sees what really happened to his dad. So he decides to take it on, join in. So now it's not a found footage, which is what Spies is. It's an actual narrative following the son.
That it turned into a narrative, the shows I put out.
Well, yeah.
There's still found footage in it there, but
so the only found footage would be him unlocking the secret of what happened to you, and while investigating, running into it himself.
It's a good thing you and I think alike, because that's kind of the plot of season 2 of Spies.
No, it's not a movie, man.
It's not a son though. It's Grant's sister and Trevor's brother.
Okay.
And obviously I threw in the corniest shit. They obviously hate each other's guts, but then start falling in love crap too. I put that in there also.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Mia Brown and Wallace Blackburn. So yeah. And then I'm not going to say who's coming back, but there are original cast members that would be willing to return. So they would be also on the show, including a whole bunch of new people.
That'd be awesome, man.
A friend of mine, Nikki from Philadelphia, is attached 100%. So she would 100% be in it if it actually happened. I'm excited for it. If it does happen, I'm not holding my breath, to be honest with you, because I have other things I got to finish first now anyway. So this movie I've been trying to work on for the last 3 years. That's another thing that's going on with Seeing Red Films. And then I'm shooting a short with a director friend of mine, Mark Machner, who does his production company is called Monstros Madre, I think it is.
Oh, nice.
He's done 6 full-length features now. You can actually see one of his movies on Amazon Prime. I'm going to shameless plug his movie. It's called Daisy Durkins versus the Bloodthirsty Beast of Barren Pines. You can see it on Amazon Prime. It's not great, but it's got Mark Machner charm, as I like to call. Super offensive, super hilarious, horrible acting. You could see boom mic in the camera. It's great. I love it. And then his other movie, Daisy Durkin's Dog Sitter of the Damned, he's done 3, and now he's writing a 4th one. The first one was hilarious. It was like Clerks, like it was black and white. It was dumb. It was cheesy, but I love it. I love his work. Him and I were gonna co-direct something where it's super serious but super dumb and slapstick and horrendous at the same time. So you got all these people acting like super serious, and then like just there's like a guy in a rubber suit, and people think it's a real monster, and it's clearly a guy in a rubber suit. Like it's one of those things. It's great.
Oh,
So
awesome, man.
yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got going on soon. Whenever I can shoot again,
Nice.
I'm hoping, knock on wood, by end of September, people maybe, because in this area, you're down in like Virginia area, mid east, I guess.
No, I'm right next to West Virginia. I'm like not even 5 miles from West Virginia.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm on the west side now. I'm
Oh,
over in the
nice.
Shenandoah area.
Oh, nice.
So, good old Chester.
I don't know what your COVID situation is in your state, but New Jersey's going downward. It got a little bit of a spike when they opened outdoor dining again, but the governor, as of this, this recording, whoever's watching this or hearing this now, our numbers were good. We were the second worst in the country when COVID-19 hit, and now we're like the 4th best, and New York is the 3rd best. So we're being safe around here. We're practicing social distancing, masks. Obviously, there's people who are like, it's my right to not wear a mask. Hey, you do what you want. Just be not near me, or my friends or loved ones. So political stupid stuff aside, once everybody's safe, because there's a party scene, there's going to be a lot of people, so, and we don't really want to like jeopardize the validity of the stupidness of the short, so we're not going to cut corners with it or anything. So we're just waiting until we can shoot it. Everybody who was part of the party scene did agree, though, that if we could shoot it in November, it's going to be super cold. We'll do it one night, quick, 2 hours, no more, no less, and we'll get all the scenes done for the party scene.
I'm just imagining all those times I've had on set where it was like, we'll
be done. We'll be done. I swear. We'll be done by 7. Yeah, 3:30 in the morning rolls around.
8.5 hours later. All right.
Yeah.
4-hour turnaround. Go home and sleep.
Who wants pizza?
God, man, those were some fun times, though. No, that's awesome, man. I really hope it gets all worked out. And once it's all situated, let me know so that way I can promote it. It'll like I said, I'm impatient to get creative again, but I'm also responsible for myself and others. I'm not going to jeopardize anybody's health, myself, any actors, actresses, crew. I'm not going to do that. So, dude, do a challenge, man.
Yeah. I wrote a script, kind of autobiographical, that only requires a small amount of actors. It's not horror. It's not any kind of genre stuff that, we usually do or talk about. But, it's one of those like passion project things. Yeah. I'm actually going to shoot it with my phone. I have a gal I picked up. I decided to treat myself as like a breakup present. I bought a S20 Ultra.
Nice.
It has an 8K camera on it. This camera is better than my actual film camera. I mean, there's not a lot you can do with it because it only shoots in portrait or side, so it's a little tough, but it does have, the quality is insane. I actually started a photography business on the side called Dark Prince Gallery. Shameless plug. And
please plug, go right ahead.
Yeah, darkprincegallery.com. It's going to be up and running in August. It's pictures of abandoned places, nice. Weird New Jersey stuff, just local legend stuff. And basically, I'm going to be taking very, very high resolution pictures, changing them slightly into Photoshop, just like adding little elements here and there, and then custom framing them and then selling them on like Etsy or little oddities flea markets and stuff like that. So it's just something on the side. It's like a passion thing.
It's funny you brought that up because I've been thinking about Weird New Jersey, and I was, part of me was like, if I was still up there, it'd be great to have a photographer go out or somebody with a camera go out, and I would just tell my stories of all the weird New Jersey trips I went on.
Yeah, I went to Devil's Tree and took a lot of pictures there and video, and I went to, because I live close to it, Mary Ellis's grave. You've been there a billion times when we went to movies. If whoever is not from New Jersey, if you want to see something weird that makes no sense, but it kind of makes sense if you know the history of how land, property, and deeds work, there is a movie theater in central New Jersey. Yes, central New Jersey exists. And it's about like 25 miles outside of New York or so, New York City. There's a random movie theater on the edge of a river, whatever. Then there's just a grave in the middle of the parking lot. It is a grave.
It's funny you mention that, and there is proof that it's there, because if you watch,
because if you go to Dark Prince Gallery on Instagram, I have pictures of it there.
That's true.
Give me a follow.
Well, but if you want to check it out and watch Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
Yeah, but that's not even the theater, though.
That is the theater.
No, it's not.
That's the one they pay. No, that's not. There is no actual burger joint across the street.
No, but the theater they show is not actual AMC Lowe's. It's
Are you sure? It looked like it was. No,
it's not.
Back in the day, though.
It's not. I saw that movie in that theater opening day. I know. Everybody was cheering, and then they saw the theater, and then they started booing and cheering.
All right. Well, if you want it, then it was the old
US One Flea Market. Yeah. That was in Mallrats, so you could see that. Yeah.
It was definitely so you can see it there.
Yeah.
But there is a grave, and weirdly enough, it's such a weird grave. Oh, great! We're gonna get into weird New Jersey stories. So it's like if you're driving through the parking lot, it's like 6 feet above everything. So like
it's above ground,
and it's a complete it's an above ground grave that they completely surrounded with brick. And like a fence on top with the grass on top of it and their headstone. And so when you get out of your car, when you park your car right next to the grave, the grave has to be right there.
Yep.
So we did our fair share of weird New Jersey trips. Remember I used to run in high school because I was the only one who knew how to get there. So people would pay me to bring them to the Devil's Tree. Oh
yeah, Devil's Tree Pig Lady Road was a great one.
Yep. You were going to write a movie about Clinton Road, weren't you?
I did, actually.
You need to make Clinton Road. That's a big one too. That there's actually something that just
that's one of the Spies movies I wrote was Clinton Road, where you took pretty much every legend of that place, and the plot is that the main investigator of Spies, which is not Grant Brown, it's this other kid. It's like I don't know where it was. I said some time ago was how I started it, and it's either in the past or the present or whatever. It doesn't matter the timeline. They go there on the Autumnsvale, which is a made-up holiday I wrote for Pandemonia, where it's like where the spirits really, instead of Sam Hain, they really come out a couple days beforehand and do whatever. So and the one girl on the team now is like clairvoyant, so she like adds to it, and they make everything sensitive, and they pull all the spirits. You got the dogs from Jungle Habitat down the road. We had the castle in there. We got the car. The girl hit the tree, with her car. We got everything on it. We got, at the end of the movie, there's how there's a big rumor of Clinton Road. If whoever's watching this wants to look up Clinton Road, it's a haunted road in New Jersey. It's about 10, 11-mile stretch. You can drive the whole thing. About 8 miles of it is pure pitch black tree cover at night. You can barely see in front of you. Getting to the actual places that it is said to be haunted or, weird stuff happens, it's kind of you have to go during the day because it's a hike. Like the castle's a hike. And the thing is, now the town, West Milford, New Jersey, doesn't let anybody park on the road at all. So you cannot really film anything there without any kind of permits, and even then they don't really give you any kind of permits when you file for filming. The Clinton Road movies that have been made, there's been at least 2 of them. One of the owners of one of the houses on actual Clinton Road rented the production company the house for exterior shots, and they shot the rest in Los Angeles. It's like the house at the end of Clinton or whatever it's called. What's her face is in it that No.
I remember their arts.
And then there's one with Ice-T that just got made like a couple years ago called Clinton Road. I didn't see that one, but that got made too. And the one I wrote was a little more lighthearted, but it's got some like scary jump scenes. And there's this, you know me, I always wrote bigger than I could afford. There's 2 scenes that are just insane. There was a scene where the one kid gets in the car with the girl who's the ghost in the yellow Camaro. That's a real story. If you look up the Clinton Road, history, a girl was driving home and she fell asleep behind the wheel in her yellow Camaro. She like smashed into a tree and like died on impact. So the bit in the movie, the scene in the movie is the kids running away from the wolf things that are supposedly hybrid animals from. There used to be a zoo up there called Jungle Habitat, and that's about a 5-mile hike that you can actually get to, and they don't care if you go there. There's it's at your own risk kind of thing. Me and my ex-girlfriend were actually going to go there and take pictures, but it never happened. But I've been there before, and the scene starts with the guy and the girl. It's the couple of the movie. They're all kissy and touching, and they're fooling around when they're supposed to be investigating, and they're like in Friday the 13th, they're the ones that go off and have sex and get killed by Jason.
Mm-hmm.
They're that couple. So they go and they find little wolf cubs. We were going to use like fox cubs because a friend of mine owns foxes, and we're going to borrow some. So we made these little fox cubs, and then the mama comes, and you don't see the big dog, and it chases them. It's going to be like Evil Dead camera.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets the guy, and the girl runs away, and there's a car on the road, and she waves it down, and it's a yellow Camaro, and she gets in the Camaro, and the girl's like, I don't feel good. She's like, please, we got to go get help. My boyfriend's getting killed by an animal or whatever. She's like, okay. And it was going to be
dialogue, Mario.
It's not the actual dialogue, but just like I wrote this 3 years ago, so that's a while. So this was going to be found footage, this part. So she keeps veering back and forth and shaking, and every time she asks a question, the girl gets worse looking every time she turns around. And then she realizes she's in a ghost car, and she realizes the girl's a ghost, and then she's like, the corner's coming up, because in the dialogue they do mention, oh yeah, we're right by the corner. I think I called it Hangman's Corner in the
yeah
movie. I changed all the names because
what was it in real life? It was
there was Dead Man's Corner, because people actually still like get into fatal car accidents over there at night because they just go and you can't see the turn, and you just go right there. That tree has killed, like, I think they cut it down finally, but that tree has killed like a lot of people. And that's just one of the more famous stories, because the woman, the spirit that supposedly haunts the road is a yellow Camaro, and it's the spirit of a girl who fell asleep and died hitting that tree. So we were going to use that story, and it was this big elaborate shot where the girl's in the car looking back and forth, and then at the end we were going to do a camera trick where there's this stock footage of a car driving into a tree that you can get on anywhere. Shutterstock.com has it for like $10. You could just buy this car hitting a tree. It's like test footage, but that single panoramic shot of the windshield you can add to your film and license the actual film, and it hits a tree. So what we were going to do is film in the car and just be still and superimpose the film of driving in post-production, and then cover the sides with that roll tape that looks like you're driving a car.
Yeah.
And then we were gonna stop and then cut and then have the girl in makeup and look worse and worse, and injuries and blood and crazy stuff. And then at the end we were gonna do a camera trick where the tree is coming and then the car disappears, and then we're gonna have a pull rope launch the camera right past the tree, and the girl looks, and she misses a tree and doesn't die.
All right.
But she gets thrown from the ghost car. So that's one of the scenes that we had that plays off.
I just gotta say, you have a very, very good imagination, but you need to start matching yourself up with some kind of millionaires, because you have some.
Okay, so that whole scene would cost the rental of a car, special effects, the $10 for the Shutterstock footage, and a pull rope to throw the camera, which you can make yourself, which would just use 2 bungee cords. So that whole scene could be shot for less than $200. To make it look good, on the other hand, you need a VFX guy just for that one scene where the car disappears out of nowhere, and a good editor. So that might also cost another $500 minimum. So you're looking at $1,000 for a really awesome scene. Not the worst use of $1,000. So I mean, from a cheap indie budget standpoint, for those watching that want to get into filmmaking, you can really price that out and do a scene like that. No matter how big your imagination is, as long as you're not blowing up buildings and blowing up cars, crazy stuff, you can do really innovative things very cost efficiently and still have your vision come to life. You know this. I mean, but you've been in Hollywood, that stuff costs a lot of money. So I mean, I still run into people who are like, how did this movie cost so much money? I'm like, well, for starters, 40% of the money on budgets is to pay people. So you got to keep that into consideration. That's a minimum of like 40% of it is to pay people. So, and then the rest is, expense and materials and locations and all that stuff. But yeah, like, you can, as long as, I mean, I don't really not pay anybody anymore, like for my projects, like even if it's just travel, I'm like, here's $30, $40 for gas.
Yeah.
I pay, you have to pay people even in the indie thing. You can still, I'm telling filmmakers out there that are listening or watching, you can make really cool scenes. You just got to put a little bit of time and effort. You got to do the research. You can make whatever you want, even if it doesn't look the best, as long as it's close to what you want. You can still put it in if you do the research and put the time and effort in. That whole scene, I explained it to you in your mind. You're picturing it when I explained it to you in your mind, what it would look like in your mind. Yeah. You think it would be super expensive. And I think it would be super expensive. I think it would look awesome also. But I know just from the research I put into it that even though there might be a corner cut here and there, like there'd be a quick cut probably, you could still make it look awesome for $1,000. And even though that seems like a lot, if you take 5 big scenes in a movie, say you're paying for your film out of pocket, you save, you take side jobs, you do whatever you can, your first film, your first big film, you take side jobs, you do what you can. Just, you saw this recently, and I'm going to tell everybody, as of this recording, COVID-19 is happening. Joe Bob Briggs is on Shudder right now with At the Last Drive-In. He did a monologue about a month ago of this recording, and you could check it out on YouTube. It really sparked me hard, and everybody I know that's been struggling with the virus and the pandemic, and a lot of creative people watched it, and it really hit home.
That was a big deal. That was, and I knew a lot of people who like kind of gave up on One Cut of the Dead, which was the movie he showed at the end of that. He did his speech. I saw that last year when it was hitting festivals, and I couldn't believe that movie when I saw it. I loved it, man. I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, no, he hit the nail on the head is what filmmakers, and you see, like the thing is, he never said like get pretentious. He never acted that way about filmmaking. Like we've run into in the past and things like that. Yeah. You know, a lot of we're kind of like that too in our own ways. So I mean, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We are. No, I mean listen, it takes a bit of hubris to do anything. Yeah. Because you need that hubris to build that confidence. And there's nothing wrong with that. Pretentiousness is a little bit different, in my opinion. Pretentiousness is, like, if you have hubris, I'm always right and I'm never wrong. Yeah. Exactly. And not just that, but, like, if you believe anything else, you are a lower human being than me. To be able to walk into a room and be like, I'm the best filmmaker in this room, may not be true. You may be humbled. There's that will happen. But it's okay if it builds to your confidence a little bit, as long as you're not treating everybody else like they're stupid, which is what the pretentious people we've run into we're kind of like. Us saying, like, I'm going to get this done because I'm that good, that you need that, I think. I've had this argument with people in the past, and I would have never gotten anywhere in life if I didn't have some hubris And
I'm a shining example of how people can change, because you knew me years and years ago in person, and what I just said, that little monologue I just had about you can do it, save money, you can still make cool scenes, you could price them out, do the research. You know that 5 or 6 years ago, I would have never said that ever. You know that. And I needed to learn that the hard way, unfortunately. But, like, you know, it's true. You know, you can. I know that working cheap and indie is hard. It's people trash it all the time in reviews online. They're like, oh, it's not these remakes that I always complain about, but I still give my money to in the theaters. It's not like a tentpole. It's not Blumhouse. It's not this or that. And I'm like, but it's trying. Like, One Cut of the Dead costs like $30,000, and that movie looks like $1 million movie. And you know, The Battery, that zombie movie, The Battery, that cost like $10,000, and that was one of the best zombie movies I've ever seen. And I feel like that was lightning in a bottle, but that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you've never seen it, check it out. It's more like a mumblecore horror movie, but it's pretty damn good. The acting is like phenomenal, even though you could tell it was an accident. But still,
I love your take on it too, because you are really big into the independent, especially horror scene. And I will attest to this. I've worked on many different genres in the film industry, and probably the independent horror scene is the most fun.
It is fun. It's also toxic as well, but
it can be.
It depends on who you decide to align yourself with or associate with. My only advice is learn what you can. Try to stick to your guns specifically. It's good to have mentors and people who help you along the way, but sometimes you got to make the mistakes on your own. Sometimes you need to learn on your own. And a big thing that I was going to get into, because I was diagnosed with a mental illness last year, finally, and I wanted to get it. I'm not going to go too personal about it, but I'll just say with a broad brush, the thing about the Joe Bob monologue, which is what I wanted to get back to, is you linked me in it. I had seen it that previous night when he put it up and it went on YouTube. And, you know, you said, you know, here you go. If you need inspiration, here you go. Well, when you linked, the reason Mick linked that to me is because I have a problem where I get beaten down a lot. I beat myself up. I have had personal issues that have gotten in the way. I've let them get in the way. People let life get in the way of their hopes and dreams and what they really are meant to do. I mean, at this point, I don't think I'm gonna, you know, go to Hollywood, or, you know, even though it's not really a thing, you know,
you don't have to.
I don't have to, A, like he said, and B, this is really more of a passion. If I make money at it, cool. If I go somewhere with it, cool. My real goal in life is to try to maybe head down to Atlanta, work in films while doing my own stuff. Yeah. You know, because I actually found, we discussed this when I didn't believe Mick about this either. He said, I went to Los Angeles. I went to film school. I wanted to do this in films. I think you did want to be a director or a producer or something.
Everybody wants to be a director when they go into film school.
But then you told me you might find that you love being a gaffer. You like being a grip. You like doing set design. And what you went there initially is not what you love. I actually found something I'm good at in real media, which is like, you know, full-blown major production. I'm really good at being a second AD. And that's the third assistant director, for those that don't know, because I know it's got a weird name. Basically, you run around, you're first on set, last off set. You get there at 3 a.m. You wear a little GoPro. You have a little clipboard, or actually it's an iPad for bigger productions now, or just a tablet. You go to the crew. You make sure they're awake. You have the GoPro on, so you can go back to the UPM to make sure that if they don't show, they have to get fired and you have to replace them.
Yeah.
And most people who want to get paid and work on films always show. I've only had one person not show, and it was a grip, and that was it. You get the crew, you check them off. Okay, you're all here, good. Call time's in 10 minutes. Wake the hell up. You go to the talent. You go, makeup's here, you're there, blah, blah, blah. It's really not a hard job. It's just the hours are trash, but you get paid a lot. So, I mean, and I actually enjoy doing it because you have one job. Sometimes on like indier major productions, they'll have you fill out a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
But like it's really making like name tags and stuff. There's nothing crazy. The producer and the line producers make all of the paperwork for the most part. It's usually the line producers.
You know, it's funny, not to cut you off, but it's funny that you mentioned that route. And it's I have a friend of mine. I don't know if you watched the show a couple of weeks ago. I had my buddy Joe on there, and he was co-hosting.
I caught like the first 10 minutes of it.
Well, his wife is in the DGA. She started out wanting to be
the one who worked on Lone Ranger, right?
She worked on Lone Ranger. She's worked.
Yeah, I remember. Like, I remember. Yeah.
So far past, like, I mean, we always knew too. Like, it was funny because her first project was that.
I remember they had to spend time apart because she had to do the Lone Ranger and was going to be 6 months in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she'll go away. She did the Fast and the Furious movies.
I did the fourth one. That's how I got into all this in the first place. I was with my cousin who was in Los Angeles.
Well, that's what I mean. And seeing her, like, we had no doubt. I've always said she's going to produce multi-million-dollar movies one day. I was like that because that's if you go that route. If you go assistant directing, it generally leads to producing rather than directing.
Yeah, I like. I never thought, like, I quick little personal story. I was working in Manhattan in Tribeca, which is where they shoot, like, literally everything. For those of you that don't know, Tribeca is the very bottom of Manhattan where the World Trade Center is. And all those places you see that are shot in New York are shot in literally that little section. There's Queens where there's this 2-mile stretch of road that's only used for filming for the most part. No residential cars or vehicles can go on it. They only shoot it for filmmaking. That scene in The French Connection was shot on that road. And then they use Harlem. There's a little part in Harlem in the upper west, upper east side. I forget where it is, but it's around there. They only use 3 locations really in New York to shoot, and it's those 3 locations. I worked in Tribeca on Worth Street, which is 2 blocks from the Ghostbusters fire station. So I was working there for like 7 months, making amazing, insane money, like just working in an office because it's Manhattan and they're very wealthy over there. Little did I know my permanent position was actually only temporary, and they let me go when the renovation they were doing was over. So I was a little bummed. I was going home not knowing what my future held, and I ran into season 3, I believe, of Girls being filmed.
Nice.
And I ran into a friend of mine who was UPMing on that
Very
show.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, hey, John, what's up? Oh, hey, what are you doing here? I was like, I worked at an office over here for a lighting firm. And he was like, oh, that's cool. What are you doing right now? And I go, I was going home. And he goes, you want to help? You want a PA, sign this paper, and I'll help you. You can help us to make a quick $200 for 2 hours worth of work. I was like, sure. I met Adam Driver. I met Lena Dunham. I met the whole cast of that show. And then I came back the next 6 days and worked on as a PA on Girls. And then I got a PA job on Gotham. And then the last day, basically, if you're not in the union, it's first come, first serve.
Mm-hmm.
Like, usually people bring their friends to work on these shows if you're not in the union to get hours to get into the union. So I was just my friend John's friend, and he signed me up, and I got some hours under my belt. And then the last day of Gotham, they're like, we need somebody to do this job. It was a pregnant woman who was second AD on Gotham. And I forgot her name. It was like Julia something. And she went into labor and couldn't do it. And the second AD couldn't do that because the second AD cannot do all that and then block scenes and set up stuff and then do that stuff. So they're like, does anybody want to learn a crash course and an easy but super responsible job? And I was like, I'll do it. And that was my foray into getting second AD work, which is not easy, but it's not hard either, and it's a lot of fun and very rewarding for me.
Yeah.
So, like to expound on the point I was making before with Mick real quick to end the anecdote, Mick was right, because I do like directing personally. I think I'm actually good at the directing aspect. I'm not good at really filming. I can frame a shot now. I can block a shot because I know how to do that from the shows, the TV shows I worked on, and seeing actual professional people block scenes and set up cameras and, you know, angles. So like that experience I got was like phenomenal. But now I know how to do that somewhat. So now I know how to actually work different aspect ratios for shots and stuff like that. So there's that. I got all that from Gotham and Girls.
Nice.
And then I'm good at working with actors, in my opinion. I could be wrong. You know, some people can agree or disagree. But I don't have a big body of work to show, and the body of work I do have, I'm in half of it, so it's like not great. But nowadays, with new things I do, you're gonna see like a world of difference. So anything from here on out, like that comes out starting like 2021, so to speak, you're gonna see a world of difference. And the point I was trying to make was I found what I'd want to do, which was, you know, being a second AD. The way to go about doing stuff like that is if you want to work in film, like real film, like professional film, not just your own stuff, your friend's stuff, indie stuff, find out what you need to do, go to a school, a cheap school, or try to find your way into New York, Atlanta, Austin, Los Angeles, Portland, big film bunkers. North Carolina too that's still like in North Carolina is still like whatever. But any of those states, I would recommend Atlanta or New York right now because California is not great.
Yeah,
But,
Louisiana too. Louisiana as well.
Oh yeah. So go there, go on sets, become a PA, see how horrible that is. It's well paid, but it's a lot of horrible grunt work. So be ready to like grab wires and lift boxes and get coffees and yes ma'am and yes sir everybody. And
that's one thing too. Best advice I ever got from a first AD. I was working on a movie called Second Coming, and he always said please and thank you for everything. He made sure everybody felt appreciated, and he was cordial and polite to everybody. And
that's what I learned is always say thank you to whoever you're checking up on when you're doing the checklists and everything.
But even if like you're asking somebody, okay, I need a light set up here, please, and after it's set up, thank you very much, I appreciate it. Let's say it by name or whatever. And I had talked to him. We were kind of discussing it a little bit off, you know, when we had some downtime, and I was just like, yeah, you're very polite with everything. He's like, I'm telling you, it makes things go much quicker. It's a lot easier to be polite than it is to be stern. He's like, just say please and thank you, and remember everybody's name. And he's like, and I bet you'll have a smooth ship when you're filming. And the director, and if you're doing that, that's all coming down on the AD while you're shooting. Everybody's like, why are we held up? What's going on here? So it all comes down to the first AD. That's who everybody from the higher up above the line is looking at. So if you are doing that and you get known for keeping a nice tempered set and everything's moving well, that reflects on the first AD as well. And you get a good...
I actually got yelled at on Gotham because I did not know that if the second AD is not there, that the second AD has to take their place.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. So they're doing a scene from season 4, I believe, the season where the Joker gets his face ripped off or whatever. We're at Arkham. We're in Brooklyn where they shot the Arkham. It's in Long Island City. And it's like, okay, where's John? It was the second AD. And the second AD is primarily they block all the shots. They set up the scene for the director of photography, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea how to block a shot. So the first AD is like, where's John? And I'm like, and he's like, okay, Mario, it's your turn, block the shot. I'm like, what? What's that? I mean, I knew what blocking was because I have stage direction plays, you know, blocking scenery, making sure that characters have depth of field and everything. I didn't know what the shot was. I didn't have a script. I didn't have the board that you know, line producers and everybody has. I just had my little tablet with my names on it. And he's like, so the AD got mad, but he's like, this is how you block a shot. And he showed me real quick. And I was like, I didn't have a script. I apologize. And he goes, here you go. And he got another tablet and gave it to me. And he's like, okay. So the cool thing about major productions is they have this software. I forget what it's called. It's called Injust something. You have the actual storyboard in real-time 3D, and they take a picture with the tablet of the actors and where they're supposed to be, and you move them with the tablet. It's so awesome. So I actually blocked that whole scene with Jada Pinkett's character coming in and like moving through the crowd and stuff, and I was like, that's freaking cool as hell. And that's when I fell in love with doing that job, was that specific day where I got yelled at, even though I didn't know I was supposed to take somebody else's job, and I was more than happy to do it at that point. I also found out, unfortunately, that day that when you are a second AD, you need to go into the DGA, which is like 15 grand a year for dues, and you need 850 hours on a set to get in the actual DGA. And
you can't earn them in New York or LA.
Nope.
You have to earn them outside. That's why my friend is earning her. She's in the DGA, but she has to earn a certain amount of hours to get back to LA and New York.
I only have 205 hours. I still need another 645 hours.
Get to it, Mario. Get to it.
So that's why I was going to move to Atlanta eventually. It was just like, I found my calling, so to speak. So, if you're watching this and want to get into filmmaking for really reals, like professional, like major studio productions, go down, do PA work, see what tickles your fancy. You could be a horrible actor and be like, oh my God, you could see like a real actor or actress perform and see what they do and be like, holy crap, I want to do that. And then you go take acting classes, you put in the work, you get your chops, you do stupid indie movies, you do little plays, you hone your craft, and you become an actor or an actress, and then you get jobs. If you're good at it and put time and effort, you'll get there. Same thing with like crew, same thing with directing. Directing is the hardest thing to actually hit on, because everybody thinks they're Steven Spielberg or Martin Scorsese, and they don't realize what it takes to actually be Steven Spielberg or Martin Scorsese. And where, people make fun of Martin Scorsese for going to Netflix to make his last movie, and he's like, I don't care. That's where the money was. People don't see it like that,
Yeah.
Times change. People can't sit through a 3-hour mob drama anymore. And like, they want their Marvel and comic book films. That's the only 3 hours they can sit through, because it's nonstop action for the most part, and people get bored when there's exposition, and you're just like, oh, okay. And me, we both loved it because we were the comic fans and stuff like that when we were younger. So that's different for you and me, because we're, late millennials, I guess. And, times change, movies change. You got to constantly adapt, constantly change. If you want to work on your own stuff as a hobby, that's another story. You can do whatever you want. But I'm just saying, learn from your mistakes. You're going to fail a lot. I've failed countless times. I'm still failing, and I don't care. I still try.
You're always going to fail. But you brought up a good point, and like my advice, it's cool to hear you talk like this, because I do remember there was a time you didn't believe me. And I will say, you brought up a really good point that I think if people who went to film school don't go out and accept PA jobs, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because you're missing out on chances to network.
Yep.
I
got lucky personally when it happened to me, but I'm fine with that. I accept it. I'm humbled by it. I was lucky that right place at the right time kind of thing,
It wasn't just luck, though. It was an opportunity, and you seized it. And that's my point here is when you were a PA, you saw an opportunity to become a second AD. You seized it. Then you got put into a second AD because you seized the moment. And that's what if somebody says, hey, we need somebody to do this, if you've never done it before and you allow fear to knock you out of the chance of doing it, you're not going to go anywhere.
Nope. And that was the whole thing I was talking about before, that that whole anecdote led up to. The mental health thing, the people, not everybody's creative. I understand that. Not everybody's meant to do what we're talking about, podcasting, website, entertainment website, movies, films, video games, whatever. Not everybody's built for that. Not everybody cares. I understand that everybody has likes and dislikes. Everybody's got their own things. That's fine. Some people are major consumers. Some people are major doers and makers. I'm a little bit of both personally, but I let things get in my way. I let myself get in my way. This happens to everybody in every facet. There's a lot of mental health problems out there right now, and I'm spreading awareness for what I have, which is I have borderline personality disorder, which is horrible. I don't wish it upon like my worst enemy. But that aside, Dave's a perfect example without getting too personal into his issues. He all is the same way. Lets everything get in the way. Excuses, more excuses. Yeah. I'm the same. You've done it too. We've all done it. The thing Joe Bob said to bring that point to a close is instead of hearing all these reasons why I should make the movie, I hear 100 reasons why they can't make the movie. I have a kid. I have a mortgage. I have this. I have that. He said in that monologue, who the hell cares? You're still a filmmaker. You're not an aspiring. You are a filmmaker. If you have 5 free minutes in your day, dedicate that to filmmaking. Find 5 minutes of something to do. So even though I work full-time, I work more than full-time at a regular day job that I don't like, I will be honest. I don't like doing it. It's not for me. I don't get paid well. I'm surviving. I can pay for myself. I can pay rent and my bills, but it's not what I want to do with my life. And I'm pushing 40. So, I'm taking the leap. If you're younger, do it. Just do it. You can fail and be like, at least I tried. Just do it. If you want to be a filmmaker or be in filmmaking, just do what you can. Take that 5 minutes. Take that hour. That's what I do now. Like, I have very little free time. The free time I have, I talk to some people. I play a couple of games. I stream, which is the website I'm doing now. It's called villainsONLYcc, where we talk about like video game villains, and we stream games, and we do achievement runs and stuff like that. We're doing the Midnight Movie, as I mentioned before. But take that time. I finished editing all the projects that I had sitting on the shelf. Like episode 3 of Spies is done. My short Unicron, which is the first segment of my film, I'm going to release that to the public for a very limited time, but it's going to be available. That's done. I'm just waiting for sound edits to be finished as of this recording. Maybe if you see this in a couple months or whatever, listen to it. It'll be available by then. But all my projects are done. I decided finally to get my head out of my ass and do it. You got to force yourself to do the things you love, even if you feel like you're pushing yourself back. We all love to punish ourselves for some reason. Anybody with depression or any kind of mental issue loves to punish themselves, get in their own way. Mm-hmm. You got to put a foot down and say, I want to do this. I have to do this for me. You have to do it for yourself. If you want to be a director, or you want to be an actor or an actress or whatever, a stage designer, a lighting designer, take any little bit of time you can and put it towards it. Even if you were like stopping yourself, like, oh, I'm going to procrastinate. I'm going to be on my phone. I'm going to go out with friends. Take just 5 minutes, any little time. If you're a screenwriter, that's especially the thing. You can get self-text a final draft on your phone, write a freaking sentence of dialogue, write an action line. Even if it's one a day, you'll eventually have enough to finish your story that you've been trying to tell for 5 years, and you stop yourself. Just do it. Mick's a perfect example, real quick. He's got a family. He's married. He's got children. You know what Mick said 7 years ago to me, and I'm going to blow your spot up so bad right now.
Oh, God.
7 years ago, when Mick and I were on MarioLikesMovies.com, how's it going, Mike? Pretty good, Mario. We're taking stage names out of this just for this one little bit. What are you doing today? Oh, I don't know. I was talking to this girl. She says she doesn't want kids. And anybody who knows me knows that I've always wanted to be a dad. I've always had a fatherly, paternal instinct. Now I can't have biological kids. I'm single anyway. And I've put, I can adopt, but I've put that out of my head for right now. And I have my priorities straight of being me. 7 years ago, Mick was like, oh, that's cool. I ain't never getting married. Fuck women. And I'm like, cool.
I didn't say that.
And then I'm like, oh, and he's like, oh yeah, and I ain't never having kids. I'll just be a cool uncle to my sister's kids. I'm like, cool. And he's like, by the way, if you ever want to be in entertainment, you got to put all that aside because you ain't got time for that. And I'm like, cool, I'm gonna be the exception. You're like, nope, you're not. 7 years later, Mick is happily married with 2 boys, and I'm finally getting happy being single and by myself with no children. So it's really kind of funny how life works. Huh?
I will tell you, I didn't say fuck women.
I threw that in there for dramatic effect.
I said fuck that. I believe is where I went with it, but
that was in the parking lot of the Colonial Diner in East Brunswick, by the way, if you do not believe me. I remember to the day, because that was the day Dave came from work, and Dave worked at Pathmark, which is a local grocery store in New Jersey that does not exist anymore. And he had his Pathmark jersey on, and Mick goes to house shop right to him. And I died laughing, and Mick did not know what he just said, and we just laughed at him. He's like, what? And then he's like, I work at Pathmark.
Yeah, I wasn't picking on him. I was just asking him.
No, I know. That's the funny thing. You were like, so how's ShopRite? And I'm like, what?
Those were fun times. And the Colonial Diner was always good food. I
just had to throw that in there that things change. And I changed, as you can see, by the way I've been talking. It's not all just me, like, trying to, like, act cool or whatever. I actually believe everything I said, and I stand by it, so.
So did I until...
Yeah.
You always change perspective. So, I will say, I will still agree that if you really, like, I don't think with what I have now, working in the film industry in Los Angeles would work for me. Out there, and I was single, and I was doing my thing. I'm not saying you can't be married, but I do find a lot of married couples that I know tend to not stay there or not stay married. It's a tough business if one of you is in and one of you isn't. It's tough business if both of you are in, so it's really hard work. And one of the best quotes I've ever heard was the price of being an artist is family and friends and everything around you. So
I learned that the hard way too.
It is. It's a punch in the mouth. And that's why when I moved on, I realized more so, not that I, wanted to get married.
It just kind of happened. I remember when you met Mary and everything, it was just like out of nowhere.
It really was. It was that was love, man, at first sight. But so fast forward almost 6 years later, together, and then I'm doing this, and it's a lot of work, but I have to balance it. And like, I make sure that my time with my kids is my time with my kids, my time with my wife is my time with my wife. She's very understanding about a lot of things. Like if my kid's eating lunch and he's maybe watching something on TV and that's when his TV time is, I'm editing something real fast. And then after lunch is over, let's go play, or do something else. Yeah. A lot of late nights, but that's what it takes to get this stuff done. And like you said, you have to keep reminding yourself of the dedication that that you have to stick to make it there. And I like that you brought up Joe Bob, who will probably be a future contributing writer to the SceneSnobs.com. I put the offer out there.
Well, let's hope he gets it.
He did. He answered me.
I know Diane, but not from Shudder.
Yeah,
that's another story that I'm not going to get into.
No, she's a very sweet woman.
I met her in her other career. Let's just leave it at that.
Well, everything she's done, I applaud her, and I've talked to her a few times, and she's doing great work. And I'm glad Joe Bob's back. And
yeah, same. I'm glad that he has no filter either now. Like no people to hold him back on what he needs to say.
It's hysterical that you say no filter, but I have most of the old Monster.
Well, you know what I mean. No censorship for the most part.
Fair, but I still have most of the old Monster Vision episodes, and when I watch them, I'm like, yeah, you were allowed to get away with a lot of things back then.
Well, when he was on the movie channel, it was different, but when he was on TNT, it was very conservative, So
I am telling you, go back and rewatch some of them. you got away with a lot of stuff back in the 90s that you will not get away with now.
90s, the 2010s, for Pete's sake. Like, I hate admitting this, but it's true. I never watched The Office. I'd see like an episode here or there when it was on early, back when we were, right out of, like, when we started college originally, and when we were out of high school, that's when The Office really started, and people were all about, that's what she said, and all this stuff, and we were just like, okay, yeah, whatever. So it was not really our kind of comedy back then. I watched the first season with this woman I was briefly seeing, and I could not believe what they got away with 10 years ago. Yeah. That would not have flown 5 years ago.
No,
it was like crazy.
Sorry. It's ridiculous. Some of the things you get away with that nowadays would just be, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It really is at the show.
That's actually, small aside, that's why I had such a big problem making the epilogues, the film I'm trying to finish. Mm-hmm. I announced the epilogues like 4 years ago now, and I had the first segment of it shot in 3 days, and I had the second and third segments planned, and the fourth and fifth planned for the next year. So the movie would have taken a year and a half to make, no problems, bing bang boom, had the money, had an investor. It was only going to be $15,000. And, I had a rock solid deal for distribution for like a plan. That's the one thing I'm actually pretty good at, is like financial planning when it comes to recoupment and making money and stuff like that. I probably would have been a good agent too. That's another thing I was actually okay at, but
you do that. A lot of actresses.
Yeah. I mean, I could do it, but it's kind of tough. It's a very, very, very cutthroat market, but neither here nor there. Like, I had a solid recoupment plan. So, like, worst case scenario, like, the investor would get the money back, like there was rock solid, concrete financial return in there for whoever put the money out. And I got a producer to do a budget and set everything up. And I lost funding 4 times because times changed and so drastically in those couple of years that I had to rewrite every segment. I cut a segment completely because the movie is borders extreme horror. It's very graphic, very, very violent. No rape or anything like that, but very, very, very gory, very graphic. Very insane amounts of like extreme violence towards men and women. And in the span of 2 years, I lost funding from 3 different people because, oh, that's too much. Oh, we can't put that in there. It's not going to get distribution. Oh, we can't do that because blah, blah, blah. All these excuses that I actually wasn't causing. I was trying to fix my art, my original movie, to cater to the times changing. And that's honestly the sole reason why I got so dejected with filmmaking, was because I did all that time and effort. I actually did things the correct way. I went through proper channels. I did the correct things, or what I thought was correct, and I just kept hearing no, 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 no. I'd be 2 days from shooting, and the guy would pull out. Like, it was insane. A good actress friend of mine, Mel Heflin, she's a huge like indie actress in indie movies, period. She just recently moved to Japan with her husband and her son. But, she's still kind of doing modeling work out there and still kind of acting through, these kinds of channels and whatnot, doing cameos and voiceovers and stuff.
Nice.
But, yeah, she's got a ton of movies on Amazon, like 1 or 2 on Netflix, but she's got a ton of movies on Amazon, Bride of the Werewolf being one of them. It's not great, but she's pretty good in it. But, again, I still have the contract right here on my desktop of her signing to be in the film. One day before we shoot, she's driving from Maryland to come up here. I lose the location. The guy's like, yeah, I just reread what you're going to shoot, and I can't let you shoot here. I'm not going to put my name on this. And I'm like, but I gave you a down payment to shoot there. And he's like, yeah, you can come pick up your money. You're not allowed to shoot here. So I put out a 3 a.m. Facebook post because nothing's open at 3 a.m. I looked up anywhere that I can shoot this, and I couldn't get anywhere. And I paid her daily rate, and I was like, I'm done. at that point, I quit, and I said, the hell with it. I'm not editing. I'm not doing anything. And that was like 3 years ago. And that's why I've been away. But like, I've heard no. And that was the whole point of me saying, you're going to fail. You're going to fall flat on your face. Doors are going to slam in your face. Just keep at it. I learned the hard way that, I gave up, but I came back because I just couldn't stay away. I can't not do what I want to do. A lot of people live their lives and they're directionless, even though they think through indoctrination or through the American dream. I have to go to school, get a college degree, get married, have kids, do this, do that. And it's not really what they want, or sometimes it is what they want and they don't realize it at the time, like you, for example. But you're still doing this. You're still doing what you want to do. You found a love and you're doing it. And I'm doing what I want to do. So I just try to tell anybody, no matter what you are, you want to be a firefighter, go to firefighter school. Become a person that shoots water on flames. Save lives. Kiss hands. Shake babies. Or, reverse that. But, just do what you want. Life's too short, especially with the pandemic going on right now. Like, people are dying. People are getting sick. We can't see each other anymore right now. Like, it's hard on a lot of people. Just do what you want, as long as it's not a deterrent towards anybody else or yourself. You know what I mean? Like, Go for it. If you fail, at least you tried. You know what I mean? And if you fail and can try again, and you can try again, just try again. So like, I learned that the hard way, but I'm telling you, and Nick knows this too, just go for it. Do what you love.
I would, that's great advice. That's great advice to kind of wrap it up on, but I do want to make a challenge to you while you're
Oh God, here we go. All right.
3 to 5 pages, an all quarantine film. Shoot it. Do it in a week. Come up with something simple, one person. Maybe you can have more people through Zoom. It would be a good story, story point or something. Maybe you're in danger. You feel like you're in danger of a haunted element or something like that, or something else. And you can talk to people, kind of like that Friended movie or Unfriended or whatever it was.
You mean the movie that was way ahead of its time?
Yeah, tell me about it. But, something like that. 3 to 5 pages, shoot it, edit it yourself, nice and easy. Doesn't have to be anything majorly fancy, and put it out. I
already have the idea the second you said it, so I got you. What's today? Right. Tuesday?
Today's Tuesday.
I work 5 straight days closing. I'll have it done by next Tuesday.
I hope so. I want to hear it. I want to see it. I want to know it. And
you will.
When we do it, I am going to blast the hell out of it on the Scene Snobs.
Hold me to it. Call me out publicly after this is over. Put it on when you upload this.
Mm-hmm.
Say I issued a challenge and I accept. Challenge accepted.
Good.
Challenge accepted. I'm going to show everybody that if you want to be a filmmaker, or if you want to be in media or entertainment, or if you want to be a firefighter or whatever, he just challenged me to do something that I am not going to be comfortable doing, but I'm going to do it anyway. I already came up with the idea the second he started talking. The brain worked that quickly. 3 to 5 pages, so that's without credits about 3 to 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. I'll have it done.
If I can do 5 live shows 5 days a week, and that's not even all the shows on my website, I know you can make a good short film in quarantine by yourself, and then present it. So, and you got the greatest camera for it.
I'm gonna use this phone to do it. I'm gonna use it strictly with a Galaxy S20. You can also use an iPhone X and an iPhone 11 as well to shoot insane quality films. There are programs for the iPhone X, and there's one that just came out for the S20. The S10 kinda you can use, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would get the S20 for filmmaking, or the iPhone X or iPhone 11 for filmmaking if you want to use an actual like insanely good quality camera phone. It's got slow-mo, it's got aspect ratio, it's got 4K and 8K capabilities for shooting film. The only thing I've noticed with because I've used an iPhone 11 as well, just for technophiles that are going to be listening to this, the S20 is very choppy when you shoot footage in 8K or RAW. Same thing with the iPhone 11. So it's not just like a Samsung thing; it's both, because they're phones. They're not cameras, like full blown telecameras and cinecameras, and so they don't have the power to put out all that oomph. So just, you got to be careful with your phones. But I'm gonna shoot it on my phone, and I'll show you what you can do with this phone.
And I'm gonna up the ante.
Okay.
Get it.
I am a gambling man.
Get it done in that week. You get it completely finished. Do not obsess over it. Just get it finished to where.
Hey, I told you, dude. I gotta work 5 straight days after this. So
It doesn't have to be this week, but like. Before.
No, but I'm just telling you, like, I'm accepting your challenge, and I have to work. So that's what I'm talking about. That's my whole point. Joe Bob, take 10 minutes. I'm going to take 10 minutes and devote it to this little short that you're challenging me on.
I will take it. I have been fortunate enough while doing this to meet a lot of people. I will make sure I show it around. I will make sure that they see you and know your name. I will make sure that it is broadcasted out and promoted. And I will, I'm going to make sure that I introduce you to a good amount of people who are working in the industry on the East Coast. So hopefully it helps. I can't guarantee anything, but I am definitely going to blast it out there. Get it done. That's my challenge to you. I challenge you all the time. This is my challenge. You stick to this challenge and you get it done.
Yeah, I don't do Facebook chain letters. So people are like, oh, I nominate this person to name movies. I'm like, cool.
No. I've challenged you to do things.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the one where accept the challenge, get it done, and I will take it and I'll run with it.
Well, this is like official now, so yeah, challenge accepted. I accept the challenge.
All right. And just to kind of take away, I'm glad you're going to shoot it on your megaphone camera. But anybody out there who doesn't have that type of phone and can't afford it right now,
use whatever you can.
Use what you can. And just use ingenuity and imagination and everything else. You get it done. But
as a little closing thing on my end, before we do any kind of plugs or whatever, I believe I'm kind of spiritual, but I don't have a religion, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I do believe what I believe, but I have this little table I have over here that you cannot see. It has a couple of personal items on it, a candle. It's called a manifestation altar. A lot of, weirdos and metaphysical people preach about it. I just have it as like it's more of a reminder of goals and things I want than oh, please, universe, please give me this stuff without me doing any work. The secret, blah, 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 whatever. Hey, you believe what you want to believe. You have faith, cool. I have faith too in those things, but they're reminders for me. You know what I have for my filmmaking? Does this look familiar to you?
Oh, boy.
In any way, shape, or form?
Oh, boy.
Remember those shorts you were talking about?
I do.
I shot all of that on this little camcorder right here. This thing doesn't even work anymore. It's dead. Like, dead. Like, it broke on set one day, but I still have it as a reminder to know where I came from and to keep going.
Well,
this is the Mario Likes Movies camcorder that we shot everything on.
Oh, yeah. I recognize it from the days of Midnight Movies and many more. That is a hell of a good way to end this show, too, because that is like the bookend. Like, started with Mario Likes Movies, ending by talking about the camera that shot Mario Likes Movies. Yep. We shot many of things on that. William Sadler. James Ty West. Blake Kaufman. So many good times with that. We didn't even get to that, so I need to get you on the show again where we can talk about all the fun, like, crazy stuff we did. But
whenever you need somebody to fill in or whatever, you want to talk old movies, new movies, reviews, whatever, I'm always down. Just, you know me, I told you I work a lot, but I'll find the time because, again, this is what I want to do, so I will find the time.
Well, we got the showcase now on Friday nights. We got this on Tuesday. We got Beyond the Body. We got so much stuff. Everybody, go check it out. Tomorrow night, is Behind the Box at 7:30, our Cult Classic show. So make sure you tune in for that here on the Scene Snobs YouTube channel. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Really helps us get to monetization.
The bell icon, make sure you get the notifications right there where I'm pointing.
Plenty of content coming up. And we actually, my filmmaking podcast, Pulling Focus, which I have teamed up with Brian Patrick from Skyline Indie Film Festival to do that, is now going to be on YouTube. So we are putting together now. So those will be available in video format as well. But Mario, you got anything you want to plug before we go?
Oh, I got a lot.
Go for it.
I've been busy. Okay, so first and foremost, I have tons of social media accounts. The primary ones for filmmaking, since this was primarily a filmmaking thing or just a showcase for Scene Snobs. Seeing Red Films on Instagram, Seeing Red on YouTube, but I think it's /surrealdesignsinc still, because you need X amount of subscribers now to change it. It used to be able to change it right off the bat, but that was years ago at this point. So it's that. You can see all my stuff. There's links to MarioLike's movies on there still. It's still up. It's just, it hasn't been active in a long time. You can see Mick, and he's still in the one video. He's in two of the videos, actually, still.
Yeah, I was not very keen on being on the videos. Much has changed. Yeah,
plus he dwarfed everybody, so it was hard to block things correctly. He'd have to stand 10 feet away to look like he was my height since I'm a midget. And then, all right, so Seeing Red Films, Twitter, same thing, Seeing Red Films. Me, I'm at JM Executus on Instagram, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. The things I have coming up, though, are I stream under the name Part 9 Jason. That's I started as that, and then Gun Media and Fear Inc., who own Friday the 13th, the game, were like, you can't make money off of our copyright. And I'm like, it's just a name. I'm not using Jason's image or likeness. And they're like, wow, there's a lawsuit. So I was like, all right. So I just switched to Executus TV, and I kind of got a big following. And then they're like, oh, you can use the name again. And I'm like, okay. So I'm at Part 9 Jason uniform, YouTube, everything. And I'm streaming exclusively for the website that I'm making called villainsONLYcc, which is mostly game content related, achievements, villains. We're talking about movie villains too. We talk about I'm going to give you a little spoiler. We have the top 2 villains of video game history. Number 2 is Handsome Jack from Borderlands. Number 1, Tom Nook from Animal Crossing. He's the number 1 villain of all time. He always steals your shit. But yeah, villainsONLYcc. And then my photography business, if you like weird, creepy stuff, abandoned places, urbex, all that stuff, it's darkprincegallery.com and darkprincegallery on Instagram. A lot of stuff, but if any of that tickles your fancy, movies, my personal stuff and Seeing Red Films, video games, villainsONLY.cc and villainsONLYcc on Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. And then Dark Prince Gallery if you like cool pictures. And I'm going to put that short on the Seeing Red Films Instagram, on IGTV, because I think you could do 5 minutes or you could do an hour. So I'll do that. I was also going to try something weird, but I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know the logistics. I was going to shoot a movie solely on TikTok, but that is... People tried doing it on Snapchat, and it was horrible. I'm going to see if I can actually do it on TikTok correctly, though. Not like people who just shoot a movie and upload it in parts and say it's like a TikTok movie. No, I want to shoot it the way it's supposed to be.
Well,
so that's a challenge right there. You want a challenge because you got to think of it this way. The first video can't be the first video. The first video has to be the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And then you have to shoot everything backwards because the ending of the movie is going to be the bottom video, and you want to start from the top. So you have to shoot literally everything in reverse and backwards. So you want a challenge. You guys want to be a filmmaker? That's my challenge to you. Shoot a TikTok movie the way it looks.
If there's anybody who wants to be a filmmaker, my challenge to you is just to make something.
Yeah, but you want to do something. You want to do something here. There's an original idea of mine that you can steal that I'm handing to the world. Shoot a movie backwards on TikTok and make it look not garbage. And there you go.
Well,
Even if it is garbage, I don't care. Just shoot a movie backwards, put it on TikTok the way it's supposed to be.
all right. Well, at least that's some distribution too. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Mary, I really appreciate you coming on, man. James, I should say.
Yeah,
It's hard for both of us to stick to our name,
Yeah.
our stage names, but
I needed to get away from my real name because it was, yeah.
well, I do appreciate you coming on, man, and send me all of that information so I can put it in the description so everybody.
Oh, I will. You'll get it after we're done here.
Sweet, and
I will upload the cat on Tuesday.
All right, I look forward to it, man. All right, and until next time, everybody, this has been the Scene Snobs Podcast Live. Join us every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. With special guest hosts right now for the summer and maybe beyond. We'll see what happens. And then the Scene Snobs Showcase on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Anybody who wants to be a guest, please message me on the Scene Snobs Facebook page or anywhere else that you find, and I will get you booked. Thanks very much, and you guys take care. Love yous.